Hi, good morning. Miss Kearney here with another yoga session. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning. The sun's streaming through the windows. It's just going to be a great start to the day, I think. For today's practice, I really encourage you to have a chair with a back handy and some kind of sturdy strap type of thing. I'm going to use just a belt. You could use anything that's not going to stretch too much or break if you pull it apart or try to pull it apart. So I would highly suggest grabbing those couple of things. The sort of form of the practice today is going to be a little bit of a warm up, a good few poses, and then we're going to get into sun salutations. So we're going to really break them down. We're going to get into all of the poses and work in that particular pose for a little bit. Then we'll do sort of a flow of sun salutation to start and to end, and then we'll take our resting pose. My sort of thought process for this today is, or my goal is to have a little bit of mindfulness, to be in the moment and really focus on the feeling that I'm getting in the particular posture. To really feel how my body is working, if it needs release, if it's getting release, if it's tight, if it's really loose, how things are feeling in my body right this moment. So that's sort of my thought process for today. That's going to be my focus. So let's just get right into it, shall we? We're going to start in mountain pose. You can take this wide, with feet apart or feet together. As they say, yogi's choice. I'm going to take it with feet together. If you're taking it with feet apart, take it sort of hip width or whatever feels really comfortable to you. I'm going to take it, like I said, feet together. I'm going to spread my toes nice and wide, really root through my heels, making sure my weight is over my heels. I don't want to be on my toes. So I should be able to wiggle my toes in this pose. I'm going to lift my kneecaps up, tucking my tailbone under. Like I've said before, this just means that there's no sticking your bum out the back. It's in line with the rest of your body. Belly button moving back towards our spine. In case you're wondering why I'm touching the things that I'm talking about, it actually helps recruit muscle fibers and make us more aware of that area and that space. So that's one of the things that I always do to kind of help myself remember and create some of that muscle memory. And it helps me be mindful of that area as well. So that's included in my goal for today. So belly button's moving back towards our spine. We're going to take a nice deep inhale. Lift the chest up to the sky. Shift our shoulders back. Fingertips shooting to the ground. And just a soft gaze straight ahead. Let's start that mindfulness practice right now. Notice where there's tension. Not just like muscles are working, but things are maybe pulling in a way that's unexpected. We're feeling just a little tighter than you expected today. Inhale, let's stretch our arms up, palms facing each other. Just go as high as you can keep your elbows straight today. Remember, pull that belly button back towards your spine. So when I say that, I don't mean suck in your stomach. I mean activate your core body. Sorry, bunny just hopped underneath my tree. And notice that I have space between my head and my shoulders. I'm not here. There's no space there for me. I feel like I'm closed in on myself. So I'm going to pull my shoulder blades down my back, root them there. Exhale, slowly release. Nice. So for me, what I'm noticing today is that in and around my right shoulder blade is a lot tighter than I'm used to. Clearly I'm holding some tension there today, so it's going to be an area that I'm kind of focusing on as we move forward. We're going to take mountain again, and we're going to do two sort of progressions with it. So this first one, we're just going to get that strong mountain pose base. Toes are spread, heels are rooted into the ground. Kneecaps are lifting, tailbones tucked, belly button moving back, shoulders back. Deep inhale. And notice when I exhale, I'm still keeping my chest nice and high, lifting the heart. All right, inhale up. This is where often people bring their bums back, so just keep it tucked. And here, I'm going to put my palms together and I'm going to reach nice and long. I'm going to inhale, lift. I'm going to reach nice and long to my left side to start. I'm keeping my spine nice and long, really reaching with my right arm over to my left side. I'm not twisting here, just doing a reach. Really feeling and noticing that lovely stretch down the right side of my body. Legs have to be strong here and really rooted. Inhale up. Take a moment right here. Notice the difference between the different sides of your body. I'm not going to tell you how it should feel. You feel for yourself. My palms are still together here. I'm going to inhale, lift up. Exhale. Start to reach that left arm over. I'm not twisting here. Try and keep that spine nice and long. Really reaching that left arm over to the right side. Inhale and exhale. Oh, really should feel nice length there, creating some space between your rib cage and your hip. Because often if we're sitting for a long time, we feel very compressed. And sometimes it almost feels like they're touching, and we really want to create some space there. All right, this is where your strap might come in handy. Some of you may not need it. Others will definitely need it. I'm going to demonstrate both ways for you. Okay, so you're going to get yourself into a wider or feet apart mountain pose. All right. So I'm going to face this way so you can see what's happening. So feet are rooted, kneecaps are lifting, tailbone tucked, belly button moving back towards your spine, big chest lift, shoulders moving back. Now, one of two things can happen. You can interlace your fingers behind you here, but if that's not accessible, then you're going to take your strap or belt and you're going to pull it apart. So however far you have to be in order to have your arms behind you and straight, then that's however far you have to be. If you can, interlace your fingers. If not, you're pulling apart the belt and really opening the chest here. So I'm trying not to curve my back a ton. I'm just pulling my chest through, shoulders are back, really pulling apart the belt. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to lift my arms. And when I can't lift them anymore from the back, I'm not in pain here. It's a little uncomfortable. And I know that if I go further, it will hurt. So I'm not going to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tip forward. And I'm going to start to just have a soft bend in my knee. So I'm starting to get a little hamstring in there, keeping my chest nice and open, relaxing the head down. Long spine. Inhale, come up. And release. Whew. Notice that right away when I release, everything kind of caves in. So hopefully that gave you a nice little bicep stretch, really opened your chest up. That feels really nice. Often our pectoral muscles get really tight. All right, tree pose is next. So we're really using mountain pose as our base to start here today. For tree pose, it often feels good to start with feet slightly apart. Then we're going to take that mountain pose again. So you know it, kneecaps are lifting, tailbone tucked, belly button moving back towards your spine, chest up. Notice that I don't roll my shoulders back because often that creates some weird pinching. So I'm just going to push from front to back, just that small motion. And if you forget one of those little cues, that's okay. I often need to remind myself, oh, right, kneecaps lifting, keep those safe. When we're just standing here, it's sometimes easy to relax one part, but really keep all of those things active if you can. We're going to shift our weight to our right foot. We're going to bend our knee. We're going to turn it out, and we're going to either place it at our ankle, or calf, or our thigh. Oops. Whichever feels good for you today. I am going to go calf, I think. And the idea here is that we're opening up our knee. So some of you might be here, that's okay. Let's just try to pull it out. If you're wobbling like I am, that's okay. Trees, wave. Hands can be at hips, at heart, tap down, or overhead. I think it's an ankle day actually. So either one of those three, whatever feels good. I really recommend to help keep your balance that you find one spot and focus on that one spot. It will help keep you centered and balanced. Here too, we want our weight rooted in our heel, or majority of our weight over our heel. There's still pressure in the ball of your foot, but you can wiggle your toes. Take that mindfulness moment as you're breathing. What's working hard? What's opening up? All right, exhale, bring the leg forward and down. Whew. All right, I don't even need a moment to notice the difference here between legs. I feel it immediately. The leg that was rooted to the ground is a lot tighter right now. It was working really hard. So I'm going to move to my left leg now. So just once again, establishing a good mountain. I like to take one breath here, just to sort of ready myself. Shifting our weight to our left foot. I'm going to move my hands immediately. Bending the knee and opening out. Find a spot and focus on that one spot. If the balance is tough for you, definitely don't be afraid to use the wall. The wall is definitely your friend here. You can put your back to it so that that's one way that you don't have to worry about balancing. You can just lean back if you need to. And then two, it gives you a good cue to where your knee is. Hypothetically, we'd love the knee to be pressing into that wall if we're on it. And if we're not there yet, that's okay. All right, big inhale and exhale, turn and rest. Lovely. All right, let's start heading into a sun salutation. We're going to go through a flow sun salutation first, just to remind you what the postures are and what that might look and feel like. And then we're going to break them down kind of one by one. I don't really sit in them. We're going to probably stand in most of them, but we're really going to hang out in them and let our body kind of settle and see where we might need some work. And then we're going to do one more flow of sun salutations at the end to see how we feel after breaking them down. So sun salutation, we're going to start off in, you guessed it, mountain pose. Establishing our mountain. We're going to inhale, raise our arms. I'm going to take a step to the top of my mat because I always forget to do that. Inhale, raise your arms. Exhale, hinge at the hip. Tip forward. Feel free to bend the knee. We're going to place our hands on the ground and step our left foot back. Step our right foot back for plank. Feel free to step the knees down and bend the elbows along the side of your body. We're going to do a little cobra. Inhale, slowly press up just a little bit, gaze straight ahead. Pardon me, not straight ahead, about a foot in front of you. Exhale down, tuck your feet under you. We're going to press ourselves up into downward dog. Feel free to pedal here for a moment. Step the left foot forward. Ooh. Right foot forward. Inhale, slow. Up. And down. All right, so that was one round, I suppose, of sun salutations. We're going to go slowly now. This is where the chair comes in for that forward bend. If you know that the rear chain of your body, so your hamstrings and your calves especially, are quite tight, put the top or the highest point of the chair towards you. If you have a little bit more space, then put the seat of the chair towards you. All right, I have a little bit of space today, so I'm going to shift this around. So, hip distance apart. Your landing pad, so either this or this, should be about an arm's length-ish away. We can always adjust it if we need to. So, feet are about hip width apart. Edges of feet are parallel to the edges of the long end of the mat, or the long sides of the mat. Establish mountain once again. Okay, so right away, naturally, if I'm standing here, you can see my bum tips out. I'm going to start lifting my kneecaps. Automatically, that brings me forward a little bit, and then I'm going to tuck my tailbone. It's a really subtle movement, but it does help. Belly button pulling backwards, shoulders, chest high, fingertips shooting to the ground. I love here to put my hands right where my legs meet my torso. And this is where I'm going to tip from. I want my legs to stay vertical. So it should be just a straight line with my legs. And I'm going to start tipping forward, nice long spine. And when I feel I need to, I can place my hands at my chair. And I'm going to keep coming forward, long spine, until my body says, nope, we're done there. And wherever you stop at, you can rest your hands and your head and your neck, or you can, depending on the flexibility, you can rest your elbows and put your head down. If you have enough space, you can also Rest hands here and just rest head. So legs are working quite hard here. Upper body is relaxed. So if your upper body is working, bring it back just a notch so that it's not working so hard. Don't forget to breathe. Take a moment here to notice what you feel opening up, what you feel resisting. We're not forcing anything here. Just noticing. One more breath. We're going to inhale, place our hands at our hip again. Slow up. Excellent. I always need to, whatever I've done, I always need to do a little bit of a counter. So if I've really stretched out the backs of my legs, I always need to shorten them again just for a moment, get some more blood moving through there. So that's our forward bend. And from our forward bend in sun salutations, we move into sort of a higher lunge. Sometimes a really low lunge. We're going to stay with a high lunge for today, just because we're going to be there for a moment. I'm going to encourage you to have the back of your chair facing you. If you need, you might not need it, and that's totally fine. And we're going to take our right foot forward first. We're going to step our left foot back. Whoops. So the chair is for, it's for some balance. And I'm really going to root my back heel to the ground here. Really rooting. I'm trying not to bend my back knee too much. It's okay to have a slight bend in it, especially if you have a tendency to hyperextend. You probably can't see because the sun is really bright there. Great problem to have. But my knees tend to hyperextend, so I try to keep a little bit of a bend. And then while that's rooted, I'm going to start bending my front leg, keeping my upper body straight up and down. So if you need a little bit of balance, that's what this is here for. If not, you can come here, you can come here, or you can come here. Depending on your body right now, you might be feeling this heavy duty in your calf. You might be feeling this heavy duty in your front leg because it's working to keep you in this posture. It all depends on what your body is telling you. So pay attention to it. What is it saying to you right now? Also, something to notice, if you put your hands at the top of your hip bones, are they tilted? If they are, see if you can even them out. If that means you have to come a little bit narrower, do that. Big breath. One more breath. We're going to step to the front. Whew. Good idea to take a moment and notice the difference. We will do the other side, but not quite yet. From here, from that high lunge, we usually move to a plank. So yeah, we're going to go into a plank for a moment. So what you're going to do is you are going to have your hands directly underneath your shoulders. And, excuse me, you're going to toes curled under, nice and long, nice and flat. So one thing that some people do in a plank is that they sag their upper body. So they let their chest fall between your shoulders and your shoulder blades will touch. We want you to shoulder blades away from each other. So my arms are really firmly pressing into the mat. They're not just supporting me. Here I'm dumping weight into them. Here I'm pressing away from the mat. I'm also putting energy into my heels, pushing my heels back. All right. From here, you can place your knees down and skim the sides of your body with your elbows. Whew. All right. Next, we move into, we're going to do little cobra to start. So it's a little back extension. Hands are going to be right underneath our shoulders. Tops of my feet are going to press firmly into the mat. And I'm going to stare about here. I want to keep my neck at neutral. I don't want to be craning it back because that can cause some pinching. So here, I'm going to inhale, push myself up just a little bit, pressing my feet into the mat, my hands into the mat. And relax. Okay. If you would like to do another repetition of little cobra, feel free. I'm also going to show you the fuller cobra, which you are welcome to try with everything. Just listen to your body. If your back says, nope, that is a no-go, then listen to your body. It will tell you its limits. Yoga is not about forcing. It's about slowly working towards some flexibility, some openness. So it starts off the same. So tops of feet into mat, hands underneath shoulders, neck at neutral. And this time when I press up, I'm just going to press up a lot farther. So inhale, up. Neck is at neutral here. Don't forget to breathe. Press the tops of the feet into the mat. Exhale. Slow down. And whatever way you rested your head last time, you're going to rest your head the other way this time. All right. So we've worked in cobra. From cobra, we move to down dog. So we're gonna press ourselves up to sort of a tabletop. Feet are curled under here. Hands are spread nice and wide. Putting pressure into the hands. Definitely a lot of pressure pushed through my pointer finger and my thumb. If you feel like your hands are slipping and you're actually on a mat, feel free to grab the edges of the mat. Press your hips up. Also, if this is new for you, take your feet nice and wide. And feel free to sort of pedal those legs. It often feels really nice. And here the motion is that we're going to push our bodies back towards our legs. And our shoulder blades, just like the plank, we don't want our shoulder blades touching. We want them farther away from each other. I'm going to press back towards my legs. Neck is relaxed. Knees can have a slight bend, no problem. Deep breaths. Feel free to come down whenever you need. Just slowly bend your knees. All right, we're going to take actually a resting posture here for a moment. We're going to set our knees down. Take them as wide as you can. If you can take them as wide as the mat, excellent. If not, just as wide as you can. Big toes together. Hips back towards our heels. Arms are still going to be pressed are active, so fingertips pressing into the ground. And then just relax your forehead to the mat. We're in child's pose here. All right, slowly bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Inhale and slow up. Okay, good. All right, we're going to, actually, the reason that I took a resting pose there is we did quite a good back extension and then kept our back working in a really flat position there. So child's pose allows it to rest kind of and curl forward. So just doing a counter to what we've been doing before, which can feel really nice, resting that a little bit. We're going to stand up. And now is when we're going to go into that left foot high plank. Pardon, not plank, high lunge. So left foot forward, right foot back. Remember, really rooting that heel to the ground. And when we bend our front knee, I didn't mention this before, but it should be, it should be over top of our heel. If we want to go deeper, we don't do this. Okay, we widen our stance. Oh, but my heel's off the ground there, so I gotta go a little bit narrower. Remember, chair is here for support if you need. You'll notice, especially if your hips are tight, you'll start to turn. Try to really, call it pincer action, squeeze your thighs together. Whoops. Squeeze your thighs together so that they're both facing square to the chair. If they don't, that's okay. Just work where you are. And see if you can get the hips level. So much to just one high lunge. So continuing that mindfulness practice. Feel a little bit in my calf, but a lot in my hip in this one. Really opening that up. And as I'm getting more and more loose and settling in, I can actually bend my front knee just a little bit further. All right. Let's take a big inhale. On the exhale, let's push forward. All right. Ooh, very nice. So we need to do another forward bend because that's part of the round. So wherever you needed your chair from previous, let's move it into that position again. Okay, we're going to take mountain here. We're going to start in mountain, forward bend, and then we're going to finish in mountain. So feet are about hip width apart. I'm getting all of those good cues. Lifting kneecaps, tucking tailbone, pulling belly button back towards spine. Shoulders are back. Chest is nice and high. And I'm going to take my hands right to my hips immediately. And on an exhale, I'm going to start to bend forward. Legs are staying vertical. And finding that space in the backs of my legs. Ooh, a little bit more than I could before. And resting down. Weight should be sort of in your heels. So you can wiggle your toes. One more breath. And on your next inhale, Slowly come up. Don't release yet. And in mountain. Whew. All right. So we deconstructed all of the sun salutation postures. We worked in each one individually. I gave you a couple of things to focus on in each individually. So now we're going to do another flow through them, maybe even two. and then we'll take our like final posture, which is restorative, restful. All right. So we're getting ready for sort of a flow of sun salutation. I'm going to remember to be at the top of my mat. So we start in mountain. So weight is over heels, kneecaps lifting, tailbone tucked, belly button moving back towards spine. Remember, we're activating our core body. That is the purpose of that motion. Shoulders are moving backwards. Chest lifting nice and high. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward bend. Feel free to bend your knees if you need to float your hands to the ground. Step your left foot back. Step your right foot back for plank. Remember, pull your shoulder blades away from each other so you're pressing into your mat. Body's flat. You can set your knees down or just bend your elbows down to the ground. We're going to go little or full cobra. Hands underneath shoulders. On an exhale, press up. Exhale, down. Curl the toes under, come through your knees, and press up into down dog. Hips up. Once again, pulling shoulder blades away from ourselves, pushing our body back towards our legs. Left foot forward. Right foot forward. Inhale, up, nice and slow. Exhale, down. All right. That felt really good for me. I'm going to go through one more sun salutation round. If you do not want to do that, that's totally okay. You may take Shavasana or whatever position feels really good for you to be restful in this moment. So if you're joining me for a sun salutation, inhale up. Exhale, floating to the ground. We're going to take right foot back this time. Left foot back for plank. Either bending the knees or down, and then the elbows on your body. Tops of feet pressing to floor. Exhale. Cobra. If little cobra is what you're feeling right now, that's totally fine. Exhale down. Inhale. Move up through down dog. Exhale, left foot forward. Oof. Right foot forward. Inhale, vertebrae by vertebrae. Come up nice and slow. Lovely. So we did a flow of sun salutations to start. We broke down each posture. Then we did another two or one flow of sun salutation. And I just want you to think for a moment to yourself how they felt different. Certainly for me, they did feel different. Body was definitely warmer, more pliable, felt more ready to really get into them after spending a little bit of time in each of those postures just on its own. So we're going to take a resting pose. however you would like to spend that, it's up to you. Whatever feels restful for you. The idea though is that we're still in this posture and we can relax fully. So if you're in a posture that feels good but you can't relax in it, quietly shift to one that does feel good and that you can be still in and relax in. If you want to take a traditional shavasana, that's fine. It looks like this, but you're flat on your mat. That's not super comfortable for some people, so you don't have to take that if you don't want to. I'm going to take just a simple cross-legged pose here. Wherever you are, though, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. Let's take a good big 3 breaths together. Big inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And from now on, just breathe at your own pace, your own depth. If those big belly breaths felt really good and you want to continue, feel free. Let yourself really melt down into your mat or the floor. Do a scan from the tip of your head to the tips of your toes. Slowly moving down. Eyes, ears, jaw. Loosen all of it. Shoulders fall away from your ears. Belly is soft. Hips open. Legs, your hamstrings, your calves just melting into the mat. Feet relaxed, maybe splayed apart. And just breathe here. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I hope that was good for you, that you enjoyed it. I certainly did. Definitely took my word of the practice to heart today. It's really mindful and within the moment. If you want to stay in this posture for a little while, please do. Take that nice rest and those big breaths that nourish us for yourself. Move out of this posture whenever you feel ready to. And hopefully we'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone. Namaste.